Hi guys, so I'm delighted to announce that we've reached the very end of my US haul, because at least now I can start cleaning everything up or tidying everything up and putting them away. This is the Target haul. I have my e.l.f. haul just up before this, and the MAC and Sephora went up before that, so they're all listed below or linked to below if you want to see them. And I'll just jump in and show you what I got. So there's a few bits here that I got that, like, the brands are available in Ireland, but not all the products are available in Ireland. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and it's the liquid foundation. I already own the stick foundation in 115. They didn't have the 110, the 110 in Ireland. They don't always carry the full range of stuff in Ireland. And I really wanted to try this foundation, but the lightest one of this they have in Ireland is 120, I think, which is way too dark for me. But it was the right tone. The numbers that end in the zeros are the more yellow tones, the cooler tones, and then the ones that end in the 5 are the slightly more neutral pink tones. So I went with this guy here. I don't actually have it on today, I have another foundation on today, but it just seems to be like a very light, you know, seems to be very like NC15 say, but it's a very, very, very light. It's actually nearly too light, I think. We'll see how it looks on, but it's very, very pale. You can see there it's very, 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 very light. But the 120 was a little bit dark, so I'd say I'd be in between, but the 115 is too pinky. So we'll see how I get on with that anyhow. It's good to have it for my kit, but I want to see how it feels and wears and all that, so I still will try it on at some stage, even though I don't know why I'm just showing you my dirty hand there. And then I was dying to try this out as well. 120 I think was the palest colour they have again in Ireland for the powder. Tiny bit too dark again. They didn't have the 110 in stock in Target in where I was. It was up in the Palisades Mall in like upstate New York I think, but this is the 115, and even though it is like, you know, it's not yellow based necessarily, it's just very neutral. It's not pink either. It's very, very pale, but it's fine. I like this kind of shade of, I like this kind of shade and like depth of powder, because I do like to, you know, obviously lighten my face a little bit, because I've said before it does tend to get, naturally it's darker than my neck, so I do like very light colours. And I'm wearing this today and I really, really like how it feels on. I'm not sure how long it'll keep me like mattified and stuff like that, but that'll be something I'll learn in the future. It does come with a little mirror underneath and a sponge, which I'd only use kind of for emergency touch-ups. It says that it's, you know, the skin can breathe with it, matches your natural tone and blends seamlessly, and it's the Ivory 115 I got. So there, those two, like I said, I was dying to try those out, so I'm glad I picked them up. Then the other foundation I got, and I just haven't seen this in Ireland yet, I don't think it's out here yet, because everything is always released in the US, well, if it's a US brand, but it's usually always released in the US before it's released here. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Mousse Makeup in Vanilla. I didn't test the colour of this before I bought it, but I am vanilla in like their other colours that come in vanilla, so I thought it'd be fine, and it is. I'm wearing this today. Now it looks almost too neutral warm when I put it on the back of my hand, and it's very moussey. I was like, ooh, I didn't realise it'd be so fluffy, because when I, you know, I suppose I haven't come across mousses in this mousses in this kind of pump action thing before, because I'd be used to the more solid mousses in just a jar. But when you pump out the mousse, it looks like there's loads, but it's all air. So when you actually like put your brush into it, there's not as much there, and it almost keeps like spilling out a little bit more, like there's a bit of dribble afterwards. So you want to like give it a good clean, or let it kind of sit for a minute before you put the lid back on. But this is actually a lovely foundation on. Like I said, I'm wearing it now. It's not too matte or too like particularly shiny or anything like that. It seems to have a nice kind of natural glow to it. So you can see there it's very highly like airy and moussey, and again it's a very, very, very light NC15 shade, but it's fine when it's on. I really like that. Geez, I put out a lot there. I really like that tone, and you can see there it matches my neck really well. So that would be more than enough for the face. I'm wasting so much product here that I put out there for you so you can see. Let me just clean my fingers. Right, so the next thing is a Physicians Formula product, and I'm kicking myself I didn't buy more things, and I didn't even think to pick up my beloved eyeliner from them, but I was kind of in a hurry at that stage. And this is the Physicians Formula Youth Wear Cosmeceutical Youth Boosting Dark Circle and Corrector and Concealer. It's bit of a mouthful. Basically it is a double, I kept the packaging because I thought it was pretty looking, but it's kind of going all over the place because I took out the insert. And I'll just show you what it is. So it's a double-ended concealer. You have your concealer on one end, which is just like, it's called a light, but it's more of a peachy apricot. And then you have your yellow on this end. And the applicator is the interesting part, is why I wanted to get it, because it's like, I've seen this before in eye creams, but it comes in a rollerball applicator. And it is quite cooling on the skin. And this side is the yellow side, so this is really good for counteracting redness on the skin. And I did, you know, once I had my foundation on, I nearly always have a little bit of redness coming through unless it's a very heavy foundation, and I do like to use a bit of concealer to cover any of those bits that are showing through. And I really like a corrector, because correctors don't necessarily need the same coverage of a concealer, because the actual colour correcting will do the colouring covering for you. And this is very, very lightweight. So it's really good for covering any redness on the skin. I used it on blemishes and it was enough to pretty much eradicate the look of the blemishes, because it wasn't a spot, it was just the red blemish left after the spot. And it's like that. Now, one thing I will say is it's not the most moisturising feeling product. It actually dries quite quickly. Like, this feels quite dry on the skin. So for that reason, I don't love it under the eyes. Now, I have it on today, but I feel like I'm almost a little bit more wrinkly looking when I smile with this on, because it almost feels like it forms, like, it almost feels like it sets on the skin, like with that drying, with that dryness, like it forms a little bit of a film. And I'll just show you the light colour. So the light colour is that it's kind of like an NW20, I'd say, which is the colour that I do use under my eyes anyhow. So it's like a more of a apricot-y colour. And that's what I like to counteract the kind of blue tones underneath my eye. I do get kind of purpley blue as well, but I did try the yellow under my eye just alone, and I've too much blue tone, even though it's like purpley, but I still have too much blue under my eye for the yellow, because it just gives me this green cast. So I'd only use yellow under the eyes of someone who doesn't have any blue under the eyes. Yellow will counteract purple really well, but as long as it's not like a bluey purple, more of a reddy purple. And it's really good. I like this for the lids as well, because my lids tend to get red, they don't get blue, so they're really good for counteracting the redness in the lids. The light is really good for counteracting the blue under my eye, because it's more of that peachy tone. The only thing is, like I said, I don't think it's moisturising enough. Now, it does say that it colour corrects dark circles, which it does, smooths the appearance of fine lines. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe like the fact that it sets, it's like a tightening, you know, it can kind of give a slightly more of a taut thing, but I don't really overly like the feeling of that. Brightens the eye area. Kind of brightens, I suppose, in a way, but the colour, even though this is the light, you wouldn't want to be too pale, because it's not very brightening. It's not light enough to be brightening. That's what it says about the actual ingredients in the concealer. But when it comes to the actual roller ball applicator, it says helps improve the appearance of dark circles caused by poor microcirculation. So basically what that means is the massaging effect of the roller ball will help get things going, and it does help with blood flow, and that in turn will help move any blood that's just kind of sitting in the little veins underneath your eye. Then it cools to help decrease puffiness, and it does feel cooling on the skin, and blends gently for easy and mess-free application. I can't blend it with the ball alone by any means. I have to just apply it with the ball and then use my finger. It's interesting, but I'm not blown away by it by any means. I might pass this on to my sister, but I'll try it a few more times before I give it up, definitely, because I've only tried it like once. But I will usually have a fairly good idea anyhow after my first go. Geez, I better move on to the next product. So next I got a Revlon product. Now we do Revlon in Ireland, I just haven't seen this yet. And it is the Revlon Colour Stay Overtime 16 Hours Lip Colour. You could have this, but it's so long since I've been in Boots now, because I try to avoid it when I don't want to spend money, that I haven't seen it. And this is in the colour Stay Current. And it's like any of those liquid lipsticks. Loads of brands do them. But I just like that lovely True Red. And it's one of those ones that will set on the lips, so it lasts quite a long time. They all work the same way. And then you have your I don't know why I'm putting that on there because you won't see it, but you have your lip gloss on the other side to help keep your lips from feeling like they're concrete. So I just wanted to see what that's like. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. I also got these guys. They could be in Ireland by now, I don't know, I just haven't seen them because I haven't been in Boots in that long, like I said. These are the Maybelline The Elixir Colour Sensational, and I got 030, which is in Rhapsody, I think, and 95, which is in Blush Essence. So Raspberry, Rhapsody and Blush Essence. I have the Raspberry Rhapsody on today. I wasn't even sure whether it was like more of a lipstick or a gloss, but it is a gloss, but it has quite good colour payoff. And this one is more of a like a dusky pink, which would be a lovely bridal colour. So they're interesting. It was more the packaging that drew me in, and they also had more of a purpley shade, which was much more purpley than this, but they were out of stock in that one. Well, there was two there, but they'd been opened and I was not going to go anywhere near an opened one, so I just made sure that I got these ones that still had the seal on them, and that's those. And then the last couple of bits, I picked up this guy from Physicians Formula, and it's the Happy Booster Glow and Mood Boosting Blush. I wanted to show you the packaging because I think it's really pretty, and there was a few to choose from, and I thought this one looked like it would suit me the best. And this just says natural, 7324 natural, so I assume like the other ones were kind of deeper. And it's this we got here, so it's kind of like a bronzer, but it does have colour in it, and it comes with a brush underneath, which I wouldn't really use, but it's kind of handy to have a little storage thing under there, and that's it. So I might just pop some on just to show you. I already have a blusher on from earlier from my e.l.f. haul, but that probably won't make much of a difference. I'll try this on some other time. It's giving me more pink, I think. I just think it's so pretty. The overlay and the hearts and everything. And I shouldn't have put my brush in before I took a photo. But anyhow, that's so pretty. Perfect timing for Valentine's as well, actually. I get really, really enticed by packaging, and that's what made me get this. I think that's all I can say about it. I'm not that familiar with the Physicians Formulas stuff, you see, so that's why I don't feel like I can harp on about it too much. Then I also picked up, now I didn't actually get this in Target, but I said I'd lump it in with this because I got it in like just a convenience store somewhere, and I don't even remember the name of it, and it's the EOS, which I never knew stood for Evolution of Smooth. There you go. The Medicated Lip Balm in Tangerine, so 95% natural with vitamin, zinc and shea butter. Immediately soothes, restores moisture, blah 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 blah, antibacterial. Now everyone and their aunt again has these on YouTube, so I just wanted to see what they were like. I already have the Balmy, which is a competing brand obviously, which I think is meant to be the same kind of thing, and I love this. So I'm sure I will like that, but I'm not going to open this until I have a few of my other ones finished, because I have too many lip products, like lip conditioner products on the go at the one time, and it's obviously not, you know, the most hygienic thing to keep open or to have a huge amount of them open. So I'm going to just leave this in my to open pile for the future date. And then the last two things I got were these Sonia Kashuk brushes. So I know very little about Sonia Kashuk, the brand. All I knew about them was that Jean-Francois CD loves the brand, and that they do really, really good brushes. But even though I have heard people going on about them on YouTube, and I've seen people kind of talk about them, I didn't maybe pay too much attention, but I wanted to see what brushes she had. There was a good few brush sets there, but I didn't like the look of the brush sets as much, and I wasn't like overly blown away by the makeup just by looking at it, but I didn't have long enough to kind of stay and have good gawk. But I got the Sonia Kashuk number 29 domed blusher brush. Again, I really just like the packaging and everything. So that's the back of the box. These boxes are very sturdy, and they kind of feel like, you know, they're not the cheapest brand in the world. She's not the cheapest. Why should I say she? It's a brand. It's not the cheapest brand in the world. And the packaging kind of reflects that. So this is that. It's such a beautiful brush handle shape, which again is one of the reasons why I picked it up. It's really, really, really soft. Lovely, lovely brush, and that's all I can really say about that. I'm sure I'll give it a go sometime soon. And then I also got one of the eye brushes in number 28 medium eyeshadow brush. Now these were a little bit pricey, like $20 and maybe like $20 something or maybe even $30. I'm not sure. They were definitely a little bit more pricey because they brought my total up a good bit at the end. They were the last things that the girl put through. And this is kind of like the actual top. This brush just reminds me of the 239 by MAC, but the handle is so much prettier than the 239. So there. It's a bit bigger than the 239, but it's the same kind of idea. And that's the end of that haul. So all of these hauls are quite long, mostly because of my blathering, but I just wanted to let you know like why I was buying the stuff that I bought. And I will start kind of using these things in videos in the coming future, and I will do reviews. And let me know in the comments which products out of all of the like hauls you're more interested in seeing, and what you want me to review and what you want me to use and stuff like that, so I can give you, you know, like use the stuff you want me to use in videos. But in the meantime, thanks a million for watching, guys. And if you watch all 4 of these videos, fair play to you. And I will, like I said, be doing tutorials as soon as I get my new camera. Hopefully that will be this week. Meantime, but blah 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 blah. I'm talking way too much. I'll chat to you soon, guys. Slán.